गुड इवनिंग. फायर होने वाला है ये डिस्कशन में, तो गुड इवनिंग बोलो अच्छे से यार आप लोग. So super interesting topic. We are trying to here explore opportunities, and there is no gyan in this session at all. All what we will talk is case studies. We will talk what we have implemented. This is super power-packed panel. It's not a panel actually, it's a chat. So the experience each one of us has is equivalent to a panel. So looking forward to a very interesting discussion. Let us try and see if we can make this interactive. Let me ask a question. How many of you are from warehousing or they understand warehousing? Raise your hands. Okay, good. Half of them at least. So if you have a 40,000 pallets warehouse and you need to dispatch about 300 trucks per day, 3-shift operation, how many people would you need in such a warehouse? Anyone? Rough guess? Zero automation? All manual? How many? $100, okay. Anyone else? 100 too less. 40,000 pallets, 300 trucks per day, all 3 shifts operation. So you need relievers, you need forklifts at least, you need loaders, you need data entry operators, pickers, packers, all of them. 500 plus? Anyone else? 50? Okay, so the number is close to 350. So roughly 100 plus people per shift is what you need to run this operation. What happens if you automate this operation? How many people do you need if you automate? Any guess? 10, okay. Anyone else? Including labor. 50 for all the 3 shifts. For 40,000 storage and 300 trucks. 300 trucks is roughly 300,000 physical cases with 50 people. You contact us, we will outsource you. Please run it for us.
So this converting into startup, where we can avail the services.
Yes. Please send us your quote. We'll be happy to release the order. There will be no RFP, there will be no 3-bid waiver, nothing. We'll just give you the order. So roughly 350 people. And if we automate, what if I tell you that you can run this warehouse with 1 person per shift? Only one, single. So that warehouse has already gone live this month in Coca-Cola, in Telangana, closer to Hyderabad. So you all are welcome if you're not in beverage to see this warehouse, witness it for yourself. And it is not a warehouse which will do a bulk pallet in, pallet out operation and just send it to a depot or a warehouse or a DC. और हम customer billing वहाँ से करेंगे. This is not that warehouse. This warehouse will go directly to all the retail, Reliance, More, Vistara, Indigo, Subway, McDonald's, everyone directly. All customers going direct from this warehouse. You manage detail pick, you manage layer pick, you have robos who will do order processing, you will have direct entry connection from the bottling line to the warehouse box, all fully done by machines. So that is the world we are living in. This is the Makkah, this is the Taj Mahal, what can happen for a warehouse. All this is in India. This is not exorbitant. All this is payback friendly. It is just not for the sake of doing it. This gives a payback. It's most of it Indian made. It is giving a payback of about close to 3 years, where you can get a lot of benefits other than payback, which is faster service, better quality because you don't even touch any bottle or case or even pallet. And the loading also happens automatically through travelators and load plates and loadmatic kind of solutions. So that is the kind of discussion which we are going to have. Please have your questions ready. We would love to have this interactive. Let me now move on to our first expert, Sunit, who will take us through his experience around augmented reality and digital twins. Over to you, Sunit.
So, Umesh, thanks a lot. And when you surfaced this question to me just before coming here into the panel, instantly, I have also worked with Coca-Cola way back in 2004 to 2008 period and all. So, as he was narrating the story, I used to handle one of the biggest plant of Coca-Cola at that time. Similar kind of a volume, the kind of number of people, as you have rightly pointed, someone 350 to 400 people who used to take, right? When he said like one person, I was just thinking, and I said, fine, let's visit that, yeah? This is like marvelous, right? So the question is, that's the power of the technology, right? The power of vision and the power of technology to back it. So as we talk about what digital has really done to us. So just let's rewind some 10 years back. 10 years back, we used to just sit together and think through a lot of things, like the way today you're thinking, like if I can really have, how in Bombay, the kind of a traffic jam that we are having, how my traffic time from the airport to Goregaon, right, which is hardly 10 kilometers, is taking 1.5 hours. Can it take, maybe 1 minute, right? So you must be thinking about an aerial helicopter, so on and so forth. The things which you're thinking today, which is going to become a reality after 5 years, 7 years. Similarly, rewinding ourselves back, we used to think like, suppose this factory is having, suppose 10,000 people, right? When we had big automobile factories and others, we used to all think of 10,000 people. Now in COVID, when the regulation came, and in a lot of special situation as well, like you have to work in a skeleton workforce of 30%, 10% to start with. If you remember in 2020, towards the first week of April and all, there was a lot of rules and regulations for the same. So those adversity situation has really given up in terms of how we can convert those into opportunity. And some 2-3 examples which I wanted to quote, what we have done is about your plant has to run, so there's a customer waiting for you, so and you have 30% workforce, right? So and you have the routine maintenance programs, you have the routine production, and you also have projects. Now, you can delay a project by 1 or 2 months, but beyond that, you cannot. So here comes wherein you have utilized augmented reality. Someone sitting in Italy, the engineer sitting in Italy, looking into the entire plant, right, through a digital twin mechanism. The physical getting replicated into the virtual in terms of all the nuts, bolts, diagrams, everything put together. And from there, interacting with the local skeleton people out here, skeleton framework of people out here, that what should be the next steps for that, not for one, the entire project, which typically takes 12 months to operate. So I think that's the power of digitalization, which we had seen in live. And that gave the confidence, like, yes, with technology becoming cheaper day by day, definitely these are the reality. And now we can see these things are becoming a part and process of your SNOP, right? I mean, in terms of your SOP, standard operating process. Like if this thing happens, so what can we do that? So that is the power of augmented reality, right? Secondly, when it comes to about digital twin, one of the glaring examples is that, so digital twin operates in a very different way, So there are 2 main pillars into that. One is about a product that you're looking, suppose you take any example of a product, that product can be designed, looked into the specification in terms of the variable nature of the customer expectation, and you can do a lot of what-if analysis with the product, right, in terms of your design testing and a lot of other parameters in the engineering. And through the digital twin mechanism, you can really, really simulate everything, every aspect of that which you want to think through from the lens of the customer. So that is the power of, that is one of the pillars of the digital twin. The second is about the control tower mechanism, which means a variety of simulation. So I'll give an example. Let's talk about the logistics part. Now in logistics, everyone who is importing is facing a lot of issues in terms of, the sea routes, when Haiti is striking some missiles, or XYZ happening there. Now this digital twin is really going to help you in terms of simulation, right? Taking logistics as just a minor example into this, you can do the simulation of every aspects of supply chain. So what particular route we have to take it? So what is the cost benefit analysis for the same? How your P&L gets impacted, what will be the customer level, or how will be the OT getting impacted, how is your inventory getting impacted. As we talk about, it looks very smooth, but as you do all this analysis, it takes whale of a time. Just imagine 5, 7 years back when you have to do a lot of scenario analysis, what if analysis. You did not have any tools, right? How do you do that? It takes a lot of time for doing that. Today, at the click of the button through the digital twin example, you can have the various what if simulations, scenario analysis, and you can get to know that what is your impact into the bottom line and how it's going to help you in terms of managing the expectation of the stakeholders as well. So digital twin is one thing which we are using, and I think the potential is far more for digital twin in terms of replicating the physical model into the real virtual model and do the entire analysis. So that is, Umesh, I just wanted to touch upon these two important aspects of digital twin and also an aspect of augmented and virtual reality together. And the third one I'll touch upon is about the taste of the consumer as it is changing, right, on an FMCG kind of a lens as well. How we are using AI and ML for in terms of the forecasting and all, right? So this is one topic very close to my heart because in the previous discussions, the previous speaker was mentioning, previous -1, demand planning accuracy is around 40%. So yes, it used to be 40%, 45% 10 years back, but now with all these tools, it's not only about statistical analysis, it's all about machine learning tool learning by itself through a supervised and unsupervised learning combination, and then projecting it, the various analysis, how you can go to the level of 80%. So this is the benefit which really the MI can really put into this. There's so many variables. Let's get into the discussion more and we'll talk about this. Yeah?
Perfect. Thanks, Sunit. So basically, digital twin also not only helps you during crisis like COVID, or when you have less labor, or there is a turmoil where you need remote accessibility. Please also understand where OEMs are involved and you purchase heavy equipments both in warehousing and manufacturing. The biggest business is spares and maintenance. That's the biggest piece of business. So if you can save the cost of German engineers who can, or European engineers for that matter, who can remotely do this, it's a huge cost productivity benefit. And you also are able to train your own people while this happens. So thanks Sunit for sharing. Moving on to a little bit changing gears. From a pharma perspective, Hemal, please help us understand what kind of technologies you are implementing for the biggest issue of pharma, which is counterfeiting.
Thank you. So here, probably I represent Aristro Pharmaceuticals, and close to 1.5 years with them. But the project which was coming to us because of regulations, government, and pharma having a complete different requirement in terms of after the COVID vaccinations and everything. So anti-counterfeit because of the cough syrups and other things which had come, and we have to stop duplicacy at any cost. So we have started with QR, and that is supported by blockchain, completely a track and trace which will help us further. But as in phase 1, close to 300 products of pharma for different pharma companies, pharma manufacturers, government has selected 300. Now they are coming up with the phase 2 also. Internally, we have started this for 11 products, close to 11 products for our manufacturing. But what we have done is that we have looked at it and put up a complete roadmap that we can look at a complete track and trace going forward, not only for these 11 products, but using the same technology which does not have QR. Still, we can use it for the complete SKU, all the products internally, in terms of making a complete cockpit of our plant dashboard, wherein we come to know what is our manufacturing across all our plant locations and everything. This is a very small example. So this will help us with revenue leakage and other things. There are a lot of other such use cases which we are exploring doing internally in terms of stockist management, automation further. We are getting orders in terms of on emails and other things, but instead of that, we'll be introducing a front end, which will help us further establish a single source of truth that will give the declination, like the inventory going back, or there was some mistake, that automatically gets nullified. So these are some of the use cases. Then I can touch upon to some extent duty free, wherein I was with one of the other previous organization, wherein duty free was one of the business because it passed off the airport. So duty free was taken over by that organization. So inventory there, further in terms of IoT, automation, and as well as if I talk about a duty-free shop, if we compare it to an FMCG or anything, we can automate it to the extent the currencies as well as the languages which they are showed upon are automatically getting converted to the language of the passenger. The flight which is arriving at the airport at that specific period of time, automatically from the back end, that will get converted to that specific currency of dollar or INR or the other currencies. These are some of the few examples which I can touch upon. Back to Umesh.
Thanks, Hemal. So the next biggest bottleneck which we have is on material handling equipments, on how exactly do we move material within the plant, how exactly do we do the in-feed, which is from the bottling line or from the manufacturing line till the storage, and how do we move from the storage up in the truck. So there are different technologies which are available. Asian Paints has been trying AGVs for 10 years now. The latest one is an AMR where it runs like a autonomous mobile robo. It is a kind of a cobot where it can work simultaneously with people crossing within the plant. But what we have tried to do in one of the plants for Mumbai in Wada is that we have got an AMR with barricaded completely from the in-feed line, bottling line till the storage, fully barricaded, so it matches the speed of the forklift. So we replace one forklift with one AMR. And all the in-feed directly in the racks, which is not ASRS, semi-automatic, normal, conventional shuttle racks. So we pick up from the pallet from the line, deposit there in the racks, and you eliminate forklifts. The idea is how exactly do we make our production facilities more safer. Over a period of time, if you start increasing asset utilization of production facilities, you need more and more MHE. You need more and more drivers. So you are exposing more and more to the risks. So this is something where you can eliminate the risk of material handling and incidents which happen within the plant premise. So we have launched AMR already. We are trying to do this for 10 other plants. The idea is to, and of course it is 100% local, completely made in Pune. The only Lewis made of sensors which come from Hungary, and that's it. Everything is completely fabricated within Pune. Payback makes complete full sense. So we would try to see how we replicate that. As far as outfeed is concerned, how do you load inside a truck? For 1,000 cases, imagine a 9-tonner conventional truck. How many people do you think you need to load within 90 minutes? At least 3, 4? We are trying to load 1,000 cases in a 10-tonner, 9-tonner truck in less than 3 minutes with touch of a button, manually by the driver. In Telangana, the greenfield which we have, we don't even have the button. Why? Because there are 30 sensors on the dock. The truck has to align exactly there. There are rail guided on the outside the dock where the truck will exactly fall into the rail and connect to the dock. And there is a stopper. जिसके पीछे टायर जा नहीं पाएगा because of safety. The moment it senses that, loading starts. And the moment loading is finished, the truck unlocks itself and you can move out. You eliminate complete error of order A going into truck B. That will never happen because it is automated. The delivered package quality will be amazing because nobody will touch any case, bottle or pallet. Throughput will be, these 300 trucks which I said will be dispatched through 5 docks. No more docks. There was a myth 10 years back कि जितना डॉक बढ़ाओगे उतना थ्रूपुट बढ़ जाएगा. आपको थ्रूपुट चाहिए, काम करो, एक डॉक ओपन कर लो यार, साइड से एक और डॉक ओपन कर लो, you will have more throughput. That's a myth. How you turn around the dock is the whole science. How to have a yard management where the truck, when it has reached the gate, the signal goes to the warehouse, retrieval begins, gravity rollers are ready, the staging dock is ready. By the time the truck connects to the dock, the stock goes inside and you release the truck. The moment you release the truck, you have to go through a gate, and at the driver's height, you have a printer which will give an invoice and an e-way bill and a pallet gate pass, because you're carrying pallets along with it. You just take, the driver takes that and he gets out. So all the 5 steps from gate report to gate out are completely eliminated. Everything is there happening on the dock. And the truck is not customized. It's a market truck. You get a 10 pallet, 12 pallet, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Unfortunately, Government of India, CMVR allows only 40-feeter, which is 24 pallets max you can load in a truck. So this is a solution for outfeed. Again, India, payback friendly, you get rid of a lot of labor, you get better quality safety, you get better reach to the market, and you get, more importantly, guaranteed throughput. Today you do 200 pallets per hour, your sales guys want to suddenly push a scheme tomorrow, they ask 400, do 400. You don't need to plan resources for spikes. You allow spikes by design. And that is what gives you an edge over competition where your reach to the market becomes more better. Sunit, you want to add something?
Fair point. Yeah. Just later. 3-4 minutes more. 4 minutes. Can you hear me? Yeah. I think the beauty of digitalization is about, one is like, is very important, what is the appetite in the organization as well, right? So not every organization can go into a radical mode like the way you're talking about one person for 40,000 pallet positions. The other way of looking into the things is also to look into all your processes and do the same erstwhile business process re-engineering of all. And then into those elements, you have to look into what are the simplification of the process, and then you apply digitalization. Because the challenge which is going to come from the management is that what is the flow through the earnings by doing all these things, right? That's the first question. So that's the reason it's a very important aspect. Like as you think, as you go back to your organization, you have to also understand what is the overall business strategy, what is the digitalization strategy that you have, how your digitalization is really going to help into the overall business strategy. Why I'm saying that? Because I have seen in my experience as well, like some of the strategies that we talked about sometimes does not get linked with the overall business strategy. Supply chain devises their own digitalization strategy and ultimately it nosedives, and then we talk about, oh, it is a failure. Actually, it's not a failure. We have not been able to really put our own supply strategy as a integrated approach to the business strategy. Once we do that, we simplify the process, have a proper change management, scale our people in terms of the capability, then it becomes smooth. And then it becomes doable, and then we garner the confidence from the management, and then after that, we scale it. I think this is a learning which I had at least. I just want to share with you.
Bang on. I think that's what normally happens. People hear about AMR, ASRS, blockchain, digital twin. They go back and they start finding use cases. Sir, मैं यहाँ कहाँ कर सकता हूँ? You go back to your boss and you go back and say, sir, I've heard about this. It's super interesting. Sounds super sexy. Makes logistics very sexier. Kahan kar sakte hain? See, the whole problem is you don't need to find a use case for a technology. You don't need to find a use case for how do I do ASRS. You need to find what the problem is and address the problem with the solutions you are aware of. So these are those gatherings where we try to understand what all is available in the market, who is doing what, who is applying what solution to what problem. Forbes did a very interesting study last year, immediately after COVID. 10 years back, there were 10 top skills required by a logistician globally. Number 1 was influencing people. Why? Because a logistician's main job is to balance cost and service. So he'll influence the customer for a better service, influence the sales team and the finance team for a better cost. So you need influencing skills. Very standard, very common sense. The last 10th skill which he wanted was to be creative. Today, the first skill you want for a logistician is to be creative. You no more need influencing skill at the top. If you are creative, if you know what solutions are available from a tech automation and digitization in the market, you are able to see a problem very differently. And you will apply the right tech there and solve a business problem with all what is happening outside the world. And that's exactly what the trick is.
I agree with you, because most of the times we really starve of this. We might be knowing about this, but in reality, the critical thinking, big words, mega word, but let's also understand it's very much required. And there are people, again, the 20-80% principle, wherein some people are really so creative, they apply themselves, and finally they come out with the solution as well. And once they find out the solution, then we apply the digitalization into that to further scale it up. I think that's exactly the recipe of success, if you ask me. Simplify the process, apply digitalization, scale it up. You want to say something?
No, that is perfectly fine. And to add to the specific use case of AMR, so that is also similar wherein it is with regards to ports across, so 500 metric tons, and then the